What's up, everybody? So I'm back with another video. So it's that time of the year. Fall camping is over. We're moving into winter camping. Some of you guys have already experienced the winter camping based on where you live at the United States and across the world. I am not a big fan of winter camping. This will probably be my first time this season actually going winter camping. And one of the things you need to be prepared for when you're camping is trying to stay warm, which is one of the reasons why I don't like camping in the wintertime, because it's cold outside. But there's a few things you need to get to make sure you are ready for winter camping. One, you're going to need a great four-season tent. Now, most of the four-season tents that I'm noticing now are the inflatable tents, which is one of the ones I have here. Let me show you. This is my new inflatable tent. I did a review on it in my last video, but this is my inflatable tent. So a lot of people are using the inflatable tents because you could put a wood stove in them, which is great. If you look at my last video, and I'll show you, my brother, he brought an inflatable tent and he put a wood stove in his the last time he went camping, and it worked out great. He loves it. Now, if you see my last video, you already realize my tent is not that large to put a wood burning stove in there, because the way my cot is set up, it will be too close to the fire, and I don't want to catch things on fire. So I would not put a wood burning stove in my tent. Now, if you don't want to invest in an inflatable tent, there are several tents that I like that are great for cold weather camping. Let me show you. Right there is my Coleman tent. I have a 6-person and a 4-person. The 6-person is on top, a little bit bigger, and the 4-person is on the bottom. Both those tents are very well insulated. They are not considered a winter tent or a 4-season tent, more like 3 seasons, but I've used them in cold weather in the past, and they worked out great. I recommend getting a heater, of course, but those tents are great. They're very well sealed. The windows and vents seal up very well, so it keeps the cold air out, which is great, which is, like I said, it's not a true 4-season tent, but it held up well during the cold weather camping that I did last year, or early part of last year, and moving into the springtime. Now, one of the things about getting a tent like that, you want to make sure you have some type of heat source. Now, please put it this way. I normally, if you're going winter camping for the first time, I recommend going to a spot that allows you to have power at the site, because that way you can bring an electric heater, plug in, and you're good to go. If you're camping off grid, hiking, the next option would be a propane heater. They make several. I have one. I did a little review about it. It's all right. It's one of those little Mr. Buddy heater type things. When you screw it onto a standard propane can, and it worked out great. When it got too cold, for some reason, it wouldn't stay lit. I was having problems with it. Not a big fan. My brother has the larger Mr. Buddy heater, where you can actually, it's a little wider, and you can plug in a larger propane can. And, there's still the regular propane cans that you can utilize for your heat source, for your tent when it's cold outside. Those are great. What you have to be aware of, you need to have some type of ventilation, because you will have a lot of condensation. I'm not pronouncing it wrong, but there'll be a lot of moisture on your tent throughout the night. It'll build up a lot of moisture if you don't properly ventilate the tent while you're using a propane heater or even a wood burning stove here. You need to ventilate, because you're going to get a lot of moisture building up inside your tent. Will make your tent very damp. And the last thing you want is a damp tent in the cold time. In the cold, one of the things that's going to happen if you don't properly vent it out or properly clean it, it's going to smell like mildew if you pack it up while it's still damp. So you definitely want to consider that if you're going to be using a propane heater or a regular wood burning stove in your tent, which is why I like electric heaters, because the electric heaters do not do that. They do not build up that condensation in the tent, so you don't have to worry about it. That's why whenever I go camping in colder months, I like to go someplace where I have power, where I can plug in and get it on the popping. So that's some of the basic stuff you need to think about. Now, for as far as sleeping, I recommend getting yourself a 100% wool blanket. I have one. I love it. I use it pretty much all year round. You cannot go wrong with a wool blanket. Great insulation. It's just, look it up. 100% wool blanket. I'll put a link to the one that I have in the description. You can order from Amazon. I love it. Next, you want to get a nice warm sleeping bag. I have several, as you see, they're right over there. They're very well insulated. They have a cold rating of about 32 degrees, which is not bad. And they make ones that are a little bit colder rating. But those are pretty much 32, which is great. I use those in combination with my wool blanket to give me that extra insulation if I know it's going to be cold and things like that. But if I'm wearing if I'm using power and I have my electric heater, I really just bring the sleeping bags just in case. But usually my wool blanket would do the trick, keeping me warm throughout the night if I got my electric heater going. If you're using a propane heater with the small little propane cans, they're not going to last all night. So they're going to probably run out within 6 hours, depending. If you have the larger Mr. Buddy and you plug in the larger propane can, the big gallon one, they can pretty much last all night. You're good on that. And that's what my brother uses. He loves it. So definitely want to get a wool blanket. Definitely want to get a nice sleeping bag with at least, I say 32 degrees and below cold rating. Usually those some of the goose down sleeping bags. Those are great. What else? If you're not using a cot and you're just sleeping on you want to get a mattress pad. They make a bunch of different ones. The ones that blow up are great. Fold them up. Sometimes you get the one with at least 6 inches. Keeps your body off the ground. That way your body doesn't get the ground is not sucking out your heat. It's a great way to maintain your heat, especially if you're sleeping on a sleeping bag on the ground. You want to have some type of layer between you and the ground. So you definitely want to get some type of sleeping mat or sleeping pad to go underneath your sleeping bag to add that extra layer of warmth and things like that. I will also probably invest in an electrical blanket. Those are great, especially the ones that, USB power. You can just plug them into your little power supply within your tent. It'll keep your blanket running all night. I have one of those as well. I haven't used it yet, but I do have one. I always carry it with me, but I haven't used it. I may use it in a couple of weeks when we're going camping. What else you need? Thermals. Gotta get some thermals. So you want to get that. You want to layer up, but you don't want to be too layered up so that way your mobility is limited. You want to have enough layers to keep you warm and comfortable, but to still be able to move. So you want to I wear fleece long johns. They retain your body heat a little bit better than the standard long johns. If you're into hunting or if you're into motorcycle riding in the cold weather, those type of fleece long johns work out great. I love them. I use them all the time. You definitely want to get that. You want to lay up as much as possible. You definitely want to get a nice fleece jacket or coat. I also just purchased a heated vest that I bought off Temu. I don't have it out, but I'll show you in my next video. When I go camping, I'll show you what it looks like. And I used it on our last camping trip. It worked out great. The battery pack pretty much lasted all night. And then when I unplugged it, it maintained the heat even longer, which was great because, and I had it underneath my fleece coat and my thermals, and it was cold. It wasn't that cold. It was like maybe 40 degrees outside, so it wasn't that cold. It may be colder the next time we go camp, which is in a couple of weeks, so it may be a little colder then. So then it'll be really tested at that point. So you definitely want to layer up, but you want to be layered, but not bulky. Like, you don't want to have a lot of bulky clothes that limit movement. You want to still be able to move around, especially if you plan on hiking and venturing out. If you're just sitting around a campfire, want to make sure your fire is running all night, because you want to, keep warm, keep your body heat warm. What else? That may be it that I can think of. So you want to get a nice 4-season tent. If you don't have a 4-season tent, the Coleman one, like I said, that I use, the 4-person, 6-person, I'll put a link in the description. I love those. If not, you can invest in an inflatable tent. They're pricey. I'll put the link to the one that me and my brother have in the description as well. You can look at the last video that I did on the inflatable tents. Like I said, he uses the wood-burning stove in his tent. I'm not going to put one in mine. I love electric heaters, for the reason I stated before, less moisture buildup within your tent. If you're camping without power, you definitely want to get at least a propane heater. Those are great. They make several different brands. The Mr. Buddy is probably the more popular one. So you definitely want to look into that. What else? I just ordered a butane heater to see how that works. There's been some mixed reviews on it, but I'm just going to try it out. Hopefully it'll get here for my next camping trip, and I'll bring it with me, and I'll try it out. It's a little smaller than the Mr. Buddy heater, and instead of taking propane, it takes butane. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, but butane. So they say it burns cleaner. You still want to have it nicely ventilated as far as your tent wise, so you don't want to have that moisture buildup. So we'll see. I'll try it out, let you know. I'll do a video and let you know how it is and things like that. So that's it. You definitely want to get a wool blanket. You want to invest in one period, a wool blanket. You need to have for survival, camping, whatever it may get a wool blanket. A great sleeping bag, at least 35 degrees and below if you're camping in the winter and fall. And layer up, people. That's one of those important things. You want to, keep your body dry, keep your body well heated. You don't want to be sweating too much in your clothes, but you want to at least be comfortable. So you want to layer up, but don't get too bulky with your layers. And I guess that's it, people. That's the video for now. Like I said, we're getting ready for my next camper trip within a couple of weeks. Like I said, I got some new items coming in that I'm going to be testing out. And that's it, people. So, that's the video. Like and subscribe. I'm trying to build it up. But it is what it is. You guys be safe, and as always, get ready.